Welcome to the first episode of Books I Read with My Cat. Cozy up with your cat and a cup of tea while you listen to three BFFs, Allie, Courtney, and Val, talk about books, their cats, shenanigans, and some random tangent while we are having fun talking about books together. So I'm one of your hosts. I'm Courtney.
I'm Val.
I'm Allison.
And we're so excited to have you. Woo!
Woo!
Yes.
This episode.
All right. So what tea are we drinking right now? We all have a tea that we're drinking while we do this podcast together.
Yeah, I've got the Tazo Passion Tea. Hot.
Yum.
What is
that? Like passion fruit?
Yeah, it's like hibiscus and passion fruit tea. It's very good. It's very pink and purpley.
That one you can get like at the store, right?
Yeah. It's in tea bags from Tazo.
Love it. I am a very basic person. I am currently drinking my Red Rose black tea.
Still sounds good.
Nothing fancy. It's not rose. That's just the company name. This is my go-to tea for when I need to be awake and be able to breathe because I still have with a little bit of honey and
the morning stuffies.
Morning stuffies, yes.
I have the morning stuffies too.
Oh, it's my go-to. Favorite tea, probably. Favorite black tea.
And I'm drinking Mango Tango herbal tea from the Spice and Tea Exchange, which I just used the very last of, so I will not be drinking that one again for a while until I go back to the store.
Dang. That's a good one.
It's very good. I want to read the little description. A dazzling fruit blend featuring the natural sweetness of fresh, ripe mangoes, orange slices, pineapple flakes, and freeze-dried strawberries. Oh, there's strawberries in this.
That sounds amazing.
I like it. Honestly, it is really good.
Really good.
And I have some orange blossom honey in it.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh.
My honey collection is ridiculous now.
Is it?
Yes.
You collect honey
I have
travel?
I have like 5 different honeys. And there's like a blueberry honey.
Our friend has their own little honey thing, so I should bring you some Keating honey.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes. Please do.
Yeah.
I was like, Keating, I know that name.
Yeah. Like, wait a second.
Yeah, because there's like I have this orange honey, blueberry honey, pineapple honey, and some sort of honey that Josh gave me. I think there's like another one in my cabinet, and I don't know how this happened.
Okay.
Like how I have all these
You
honeys.
never have too much honey.
No, honestly, it really doesn't.
That is true.
So you're solid.
I think it is like the only food in the world that will never go bad.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Probably. Maybe like white sugar.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So. And now we all have cats. We all love cats. It's not that we don't like dogs. We just like owning cats.
I'm not a big fan of dogs.
I like dogs when they're not mine.
Same.
Yeah, agreed.
Same.
I like to pet a dog occasionally.
Yeah, I like it when I go to someone's house and there's a dog, but like I like having cats, and I never knew this personally as a person until I was in college.
Until you were introduced to the loaf that is Danny.
Yes. Yeah. So I have Danny and Bella. Danny is a massive part Maine Coon, but doesn't look like a Maine Coon cat. He is 24 pounds. And Bella is my sweet baby angel black kitty. And right now, I don't know where they are. They were in the room in here. Danny was like crawling around everything and being a nuisance, and Bella just likes to follow me. But she has gone away now. I think she went to go take a nap.
As one does
Makes sense.
in the morning.
As one does. Oh, here she comes. Hi, Bella.
Oh.
Oh, she heard her name. Yeah,
She's so cute.
Eventually, I'll get her to meow on the microphone.
I think you need to get
Promise.
Danny to moo.
Yeah.
I think that should be a thing as well.
We have this game system with my partner and I that you get a point if you touch Bella without her meowing, because most times you just walk up to her and she just instantly meows.
Oh.
So you get
Yeah, that's a challenging game because every time I see her, even if you just look at her, she goes meow.
Seriously.
Yep. Her favorite. She goes meow meow, and that's how
It's
she
a
says
double
hello,
meow.
and it's really cute.
Love it.
Yeah, it's a double meow. It's like that's her hello. Oh,
Amazing.
Yep. I got Terry sitting right next to me. He's
Clarence.
moving away.
Parents.
He's my little tabby cat. And then I did have Leo in here. He's my long void. But I think he just went back to bed with my partner. So don't think I'll see him for a few hours.
He's a skinny boy.
Probably not. Lazy bum.
Love it.
He is so long and lanky. I love him.
He
He
is.
is very long and very lanky, and he is not 20 pounds.
He's a skinny
like
boy.
9.
He's so soft.
He is a skinny boy, and he's as tall as Danny. Because like we've had Danny and Leo in the same room together, and they're like the same height, but like Leo is like more than half
Danny's
the weight.
like 4 times the
Leo
size,
is the lanky.
the width. Danny is 4 Leos stuck together.
Yeah, pretty much. Except for the length. Danny is shorter than Leo, long-wise. Like, if you stretch them out, but Danny's got him on everything else. Except the tail.
Pretty much.
True. I mean, that could be part of the length thing, too. I mean, Danny doesn't have a tail, so...
Yeah, he has a nub.
Little nubbin.
It's a natural. That's just his genetic. That's how he came out. He has a nub.
Little nubbin.
What about you, Allison? Tell us about your cats.
I have 3 cats. 2 of them are little old people. Grizzly is my 18-year-old angry black cat.
He's that old.
Yeah, he's old. I've had him.
Vote.
He could vote.
Had him since 6th grade. So he's my old man. Love him to death. He's an angry but sweet cat. I don't know how to even describe him. But he's amazing. He's my little baby. And then we have Ollie. She's an itty bitty tortie. She's actually a dilute tortie, which apparently is not common. And she's the mama cat of everybody.
She's the loud one, right?
She's loud, yeah. She does all the meows, all the chirps and everything. She has to have a say no matter what. And she'll yell at you if you sit next to her wrong. Or if you don't pet her as you walk by, and then she has like a death stare. You look over at her and she's just staring at you.
You have to pay the troll.
You really do with her. It's mildly terrifying how intense of a stare she has. And then there's Frank, the baby cat. She's a menace to society. She goes by Frank, Frankie, Franklin, Francine, Francois, Francisco, all of the Fs. Literally, all of them.
Incredible.
And she is currently being a menace to society. I've already heard her running around out there. So...
the zoomies.
She has the zoomies. They're not allowed in my room because I am allergic to them. But, of course, I still have them. So... she's the menace. She's
Love is
4
pain.
or 5. Yeah, I think she's 4. But she's crazy. She's stocky. She's a gray tabby with just a never-ending energy. She does the plop and roll like Danny used to, Or does he still do it?
Oh,
Like when you enter
yeah, he
the
flops.
house, she does she flops. She's a really good flopper.
He doesn't do it as much anymore because we lost our rugs in the last hurricane.
Yeah.
Our house flooded like an inch, but it was enough. Luckily, our rugs sopped up all the water, so we just threw them out, and we just haven't replaced them.
Nice.
But he only really flops. He'll flop on tile, but it's the carpet. He likes flopping on carpet.
Yeah. Leo flops sometimes too, and just shows his belly. Same with Terry. They like their belly rubs, even if they don't admit it.
Frank was technically a trash. She was a trash goblin, right?
All of them were. All three.
All of them were trash goblins.
None of my cats have been formally like adopted from a shelter. They're all trash goblins. Grizzly was found outside of a Boy Scout meeting, in the bushes. Apparently, he's named out after like grizzly tobacco, not like a grizzly bear. I did not know that. I didn't name him. Ollie was found in our backyard in a storage unit facility years ago. And then,
of course,
and then Frank
naturally,
and then Frank was found outside of my mom's old school. So, and they brought her home. She had to be bottle fed. She was that tiny, but we knew she would be a menace because she would rip the nipple off the bottles. So he's crazy. So they're all trash.
We knew
goblins.
From the start she was trouble.
So
I love that. I don't have good stories for my boys. They were both adopted, but they're both very cute.
But Terry has a great middle name.
I love Terrence.
Rocket? Yes. Yeah. Terrence Rocket.
How did I not know that? I never knew that.
I don't know. Yeah. No, he's Terrence Rocket. When we brought him home, the first thing he did was the zoomies around my entire house for about 3 hours straight. Didn't stop, just kept running.
Love it.
And
so
also a nod to the Marvel universe.
Yep.
And also a nod to the Terry video, the 4th of July firework one.
Back it up, Terry.
Put it in reverse.
That's a good video.
I love it.
It is. Gosh. It's a very good video.
Okay. So what book or books, because some of us read more than one at a time, because we're kind of crazy like that.
Some of us.
I do. I'm currently reading The Kingdom of Sweets, which is like a Nutcracker retelling. Mm-hmm. Except Clara has an evil twin. Dun dun dun.
Yeah. I just finished that book.
I'm loving it so far. And the other one I'm probably going to be finishing today is The Wishing Game by Meg Shaffer. That one, it's kind of like, as adults, we still wish that like our childhood fantasies are still real. Like when you're reading a book, you wish like Hogwarts is real. Like for example, it's kind of like that. So it's very whimsical, and there's still like a lot of dark elements in it, like backstory purposes. But the main story itself is very like uplifting, and it's nice.
Oh,
I like her books. I want to talk about those like in depth like later once I finish this one.
That's interesting. Like, I'm also reading 2 books right now. I'm reading Wicked, cultural phenomenon. Wicked just came out in theaters. I read the book back in high school, but I don't really remember a lot of it because I went and saw the musical, the like stage play with my mom back in high school, and then after that I was inspired to read the book. And with the movie came out, I was like, I should reread this book. So I'm about 5% in right now. And then I'm also reading Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson, which is the Stormlight Archive book number 5.
You are not allowed to be specific about it.
And that is a chonker. I'm not allowed to be specific about it.
Is that the newest one?
But it is very good. It is. It came out in December, and I'm not even halfway done with it yet.
It's a hefty
How
one.
many hours is
It's
it for audio?
Yeah, so I'm listening to the audiobook, and it's 62
62.
hours and 48 minutes.
Jesus.
Yep. So, casual almost 63 hours long.
It's gonna take no
big
time at
deal.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's casual, no big deal.
Nothing too bad, For 1,000 some pages.
Yeah, casual. The narrators for all of the Brandon Sanderson Stormlight Archive books are very good. It's a husband and
I
wife
didn't know
team,
that.
and I'm glad that they've continued to
I had
be
no
the
idea that
I
was
love
just
that.
they
Yeah,
were
they're
husband and
married in
wife.
real
That's
life.
awesome. I like that.
Yep, it's very fun. They have a great time working on it, apparently. I saw some
That would
interviews.
be cool.
How about you, Allison?
I'm reading two very different books. Reading Camera Shy, which is as they describe it, it is a spicy contemporary. Neighbors to Lovers.
Ew.
Standalone. It's a standalone, so it's not a series or anything. It's just one of my fun, fluffy reads. I like to read kind of a variety. Usually I'll read 3 at a time. So this is my Kindle book. Then on a totally opposite side of the spectrum, I am reading The Demon Under the Microscope.
Ooh.
It is
That's like
yeah,
intriguing.
it's a nonfiction book about the world's first miracle drug, sulfa, which I happen to be very allergic to, but it's an antibiotics and everything, and so it's going through the history of how they developed it in battlefield hospitals. They also had it in like the Nazi labs where they were trying to figure it out. It started basically because people were like, hey, these people in these new battles and stuff, because of the developed technology, it's not necessarily the wound that's hurting them, it's what's developing after the wound. They're like, oh snap, we got to figure out what's going on to even do this. So it's really interesting. I just discovered in the last year I'm really liking nonfiction books, so this is just what I chose. So
Yeah. I need to read more
It
nonfiction.
sounds interesting.
I'm adding that one to my list.
I love me a
I
good
always
nonfiction.
refused because I guess like in school, I didn't like being told what to read. So my brain was like, a nonfiction book is
Fair.
gonna feel like I'm back in
Yeah.
school, which actually, ironically, is the opposite. I kind of love that it feels like I'm back in school because I'm learning more. Oh, yeah, just me
Yeah, there's like a different
being stubborn.
when you're choosing to learn about something, it is much more interesting.
Yeah,
Like you're more intrigued with it.
yeah.
It's true.
I mean, in school we had to do what we had to do, and I'm glad that there's a lot of things I did read. In fact, one of them is on my list to go back to. Since I watched the Chernobyl miniseries, I'm gonna reread Alas Babylon, which is a classic.
Oh,
yeah, I know.
boy.
I loved that book though when I read it in school.
I
Because it also
That's
takes
awesome.
place in Florida, which is where we're all
didn't know
from.
that. That's
True.
cool.
Yeah, it's like a fictional town that's like Mount Dora,
Oh.
which is like a little bit outside of
Okay.
Orlando, like a small
Yeah,
town
I love Mount Dora.
for our non-Florida peeps.
Not even.
East coast of Florida.
No, it's like
Yeah.
Central Florida. It's like
it's
somewhere
north.
between. Yeah, it's
Is
between Ocala and
It's
Orlando.
kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I guess not nowhere because
Alright.
it is a well-known town, but in the middle of Florida.
Yeah, it's like as you're driving north, it's like cattle fields, Mount Dora, Moorfield,
Yeah.
Ocala. Like
That's where they have
Most of Central Florida,
Yeah.
to be honest.
honestly. Where they have a big antique show and everything. That's where I got my shelf for my rocks. I have a rock collection. But that's where they have this huge, just all the antiques and all the things. in Mount Dora. It's great.
I want to go to that one year.
Should have it in the
Yeah,
spring
that'd
and
be
in
fun.
the fall. Usually it's November in the fall. I don't remember the month for spring.
Just in time for
Yeah.
Christmas.
It's great. But now that we're on that tangent, you know. Oh no, I
Yeah.
snorted.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. But yeah,
Oh, boy.
so to bring it back around town, those are the two that I'm reading. I kind of waited because I was gonna read Wind and Truth, but then Onyx Storm is coming out in 2 days, so I decided to hold off on my 60-hour read.
Yes, it
So
is.
that'll be the next one.
The third book to Fourth
Yeah.
Wing.
So I'm holding out.
I haven't read any of that
Blasphemy.
series. Hides.
Terrible.
I know.
Yeah.
I'll get to it
Do you
eventually.
think Val would like
It's
it?
on my TBR.
Maybe.
Maybe. It's a maybe.
No,
Because it's
Kind of fast
I don't know if
paced.
I like
because
it.
I think obviously you would like the dragon
Yeah.
part.
Um,
It's the War Academy part where it's like a war college setting. And there is lots of romance in it, and Val hates romance.
It's true, I'm not a romance girly. I don't care. Just like most romances can be solved in like 5 minutes. Just have a conversation like
Oh my
adults.
god.
Please.
You know,
Just talk.
most modern
That's all I'm
I
asking.
feel like most modern romances are skipping that third act issue. Where it's like boy meets girl, the boy falls in love with girl, boy loses girl, boy gets
that's
girl.
what I love
Like,
about them. It's just predictable.
Yeah. No.
they're like
I don't mind it if it's a subplot, but if it's a
Yeah, then
primary
it's a problem. Yeah.
point of the book, it's not gonna be
I don't
for
like it when
me.
it takes over the whole thing.
Like,
But
yeah,
that's partly why I like them.
I don't really like
because
it
it's
either.
like
I like
at least
it.
for my more fluffy, like non-fantasy, like contemporary, whatever you call them, books is like it's predictable. You can just have fun with it. I don't know. It's a fun read. So that's why it's mixed in with mine.
Yeah. No, I also just don't like Hallmark movies. I find them really boring and very
they have
tropey.
they have a formula that they follow.
Yeah, and I think a lot of romance books also have a formula. I may be wrong, but
Yeah.
like
No, they do.
all the ones that I've been exposed to, they are all
Whether
the same
like
formula.
whether or not the author knows that they're doing it, which I feel like most are. But yeah, there's definitely
Yeah.
a formula.
Yeah.
I love it.
So, do you want to move on to the topic of the week?
Yeah.
Yes.
25 minutes in, we're going to the topic of the
The
week.
topic of the
No big
week.
deal.
So this week we're going to talk, since we're recording this in January, 2024 has just ended, and all of us are on Storygraph. And so we're able to log like what books that we read. So the topic is your top 3 books of 2024. And there's no other stipulation
That's
for
it.
that category.
You get. I'll start. So I put stipulations on myself. For my top 3 books, I kind of picked from my 3 different genres, as I said earlier. So we'll start with my fluffy romance. My top pick was Christina Lauren's The True Love Experiment. Love that book. It actually goes along with it's kind of a second book to the Soulmate equation, and it's just a really fun read, and it follows the best friend of the main character of the Soulmate equation and her beau, or whatever you want to call him. I'm not going to get too specific, but it was just a fun read. And they went through. I'm blanking on everything now, but I just really liked it. It was my top contemporary romance. And then my second top is going to be my nonfiction read that I absolutely loved. It's called Written in Bone by Sue Black. And she's like an expert in autopsies, and I can't think of what it's called. What do you call it when you go and you forensics, that's the word. She's a top forensics expert, and she like goes through each section of the body, like the way the book is written. She goes through each section of the body, basically starting with like the toes. She talks about those like bones and stuff, but then she connects it with a like an actual case that she had to deal with and analyze and everything. And she talks about, it's kind of dark, not kind of, it's dark, because you're talking about like post-mortem and like different types of things like that. It's actual people that she's had to analyze and help people close cases with. So she starts at the toes, goes up to like the legs, the hips, the abdomen, up to the brain. And it's just a really interesting story. Very informative, just about just the ways that they have to analyze and through all the pathologies and all of the reports, and then go into like the court system and help solve these murders pretty much. So it was a dark, morbid, really dark. It was a morbid read, but very fascinating, very interesting. And then
Allison, would you say that people who maybe like true crime or are in the health field and stuff like that would like that book?
Yeah, for sure. Because it's not, it's like a culmination of both health field and true crime. So yeah, that's like perfect. Good job. They would love it.
Yay!
I want to read. She has another book called All That Remains, so that's on my TBR for this year. It's really good, and it's really well written, and this was an audiobook, so she narrates it herself. So I feel like she ad-libs a little bit in there, like she adds in her own kind of thoughts as she goes through. So I would recommend the audiobook of it. It's very good. Oh. And then Val has pressured me into joining her in the Cosmere.
Sure is a strong
my
word.
top read, lightly encouraged.
Lightly encouraged.
My other top read was the first book, The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. It's part of the Stormlight Archive. It's just such a well-written story. Like, it's definitely, would you consider high fantasy? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's high fantasy.
Yeah.
So there's a lot happening. There's a ton happening. I listened to this one as well. I think if I tried reading it, I would pronounce all of the things wrong.
You're so bad at names.
Looked at the book in this. I am, but his names in particular, I'm not kidding. I've looked at the books in the store, and I'm just like, that does not look like Yasna or Adolin. Like, who is this? It doesn't match up. So, but he's so good at world building and just connecting all the things. I don't know. It's a very good read. I'm excited to do next book, Wind of Truth.
Wind in Truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wind in Truth. I was like over in.
And
yes.
Yeah.
I'll get there eventually. One day. But yeah, it's an excellent story. I recommend anybody who likes fantasy to try reading one of his books. And if you want to just like dip your toe in a Brandon Sanderson book, I'm gonna add one real quick.
My God,
it's called. I'm so sorry, I'm taking over.
No, you're all good.
It's actually a young adult book. This is what I did to get into him before doing the Stormlight Archive. It's called, I'm thinking of the third book, so I'm trying to find the name of the first book real quick.
Was it Yumi and the Painter?
No, it's Starsight. So
Okay.
Starsight. Oh my goodness, my Audible's going crazy. It's called Starsight. It follows a young girl. She's like 18, 19. And she's going in. They're in a planet called Detritus, and they're basically like trapped on this planet. And they have to figure out how to like fight the I've read so many things. People who are basically like keeping them prisoner. And it just follows her, and he ends up I'm not going to say it because I don't want to give away things, but it's a very good intro to Brandon Sanderson's writing, and it's not too heavy. It's a very easy read, so I would suggest that as an intro if you like the young adult genre. But yeah, those are my top 3 with a little tangent there. But
Love it.
yeah, they're great.
Yeah, because I think
They
Read
are.
all the things.
my 2 best friends are on this podcast with me, are also trying to pressure me into reading the Stormlight Archive.
Listen. It's just
Just
lightly
do it.
encouragement. Yeah, just start
Become
with
one of
the
us.
book that Allison recommended, or maybe Trust of the Emerald Sea.
Yeah, that's the
That
one I'm gonna try
Yes.
first. But that one's on my TBR. That one actually, like,
It's a great book. It's comedic.
It looks really good. I haven't read it.
I recommend it. It's not one of my top reads of last year because I read it. I think I did read it last year, but it's not one of my top reads. But it was a close contender.
nice. Yeah, it sounds like it has Courtney written all over it, to be honest.
Yes, it does.
Become one of us.
Join us.
You know, not yet.
I feel like you're just holding out just to hold out.
I am.
At this
make
point,
us,
I think
like,
she is.
It's for the plot.
terrible. Do it for the plot.
Val, do you want to go next?
Sure, I can go next. So, to nobody's surprise, one of my top books this year was a Brandon Sanderson book.
No
It's
way.
probably not the
Ooh,
the
wow,
one that you're
amazing.
thinking of. I know, right? I know. Dawnshard. It's one of the Stormlight Archive novellas, so it's a shorter book. The audiobook is only 7 hours.
Oh, that's short for
shorter.
you.
The shorter books for him are actually
Yes.
a normal length.
Correct. So this is a novella. It's a very short, kind of like interlude book for the Stormlight Archive. It's between books 3 and 4. And it's about a ghost ship. So a ship is found, its crew is presumed dead, and then someone needs to go and make sure that it hasn't been fallen into enemy hands. And the main character of this book is disabled. She became disabled pretty recently and is discovering how to navigate an inaccessible world that the Cosmere is on Roshar. And it's just a great book of someone understanding, hey, I'm now paralyzed. I don't know how to function on a ship, right? Because ships are notoriously not accessible for anyone that doesn't know. There's a ton of steps.
Yes.
So they're using some kind of magical elements to help her get around on the ship, and some levers and some other stuff to get her around. But it was really great. There's multiple disabled characters in this book. You got Lopin and Rison.
I love Lopin.
I love Lopin. Lopin's great.
All his cousins.
Yep. He's got a lot of cousins.
I love that.
But yeah, so that's one of my top 3 books of the year. The second one is a horror LGBTQ type book. It's called Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. This one was really fun. I read it right around Halloween. And it follows a character that is a writer in Hollywood. And his show is coming up to its finale. And it's like season 3, final episode, last episode, like the big finale. They've been leading up to this for years at this point. And the writer, obviously it's a kind of like gay romance, and the network doesn't want the two main characters to fall in love and like have that big gay kiss scene. So using some kind of technology, the network is, well, maybe not the network, somebody is bringing all of the characters from the main characters' writings and stories and past movies and shows to kind of torture him, and by like stalking him and bringing harm to him and his family and his friends. And it was kind of creepy, but also kind of fun. There is a pretty big tech aspect to it, which I really enjoyed. So I don't generally read horror books, but this was really fun, especially around Halloween, because it was a little scary.
That sounds really cool.
It does.
It was a really good book. I do recommend that. I did rate it 5 stars.
Yeah, that one I have on my TBR because of you.
Yeah, no, it's a great one. I really enjoyed it, and that's by Chuck Tingle. I haven't read any of his other books, but I plan to at some point because this kind of got me into his universe. I don't know if all of the books are intertwined or in like the same canonical universe, but I really liked his writing.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not too long either.
No,
Looking
it's
it up.
not.
I just added it to my TBR.
Yeah. It was a pretty short book. And then my last book is a nonfiction book. It's called The Financial Feminist by Tori Dunlap. She is a like feminine focused investor, and she wrote a book. It became a New York Times bestseller. I guess she got started on TikTok back in 2020 and kind of built her platform. She's on all the socials as her first 100K, so her goal is to help you have $100,000 worth of like assets, cash, not necessarily all cash, but a lot of cash, savings, that kind of stuff. And if you're ever curious about financial stuff and like what you should be doing, I highly recommend this book. It's changed the way that I approach a lot of things investment wise and just how I run my day-to-day finances. So not fantasy or anything, very nonfiction, very fact-based, but you come away kind of fired up when reading that, and there's a lot of action items.
Ooh.
Really liked it.
See, now you guys are making me want to put a nonfiction on my top 5.
Do it.
You do it.
Or top 3.
You don't have to. You already made your top 3 list. You don't have to change.
It's true.
Yeah, no.
But the thing is, I had a really good one too that I read. But did I rate it 5 stars? I did rate it 5 stars. Okay, well. You know what? Yeah.
What is it? Tell us anyways, now that you said that.
And we're going to segue into my turn? Okay. All right, so I guess my first top 3 it's called Secrets of the Octopus by Sain Montgomery. It was like a collaboration between Sain Montgomery, who is a very famous naturalist writer. I think she just is a person that really loves writing about nature and animals. I don't necessarily know where her background is. I really should. But that's what she is famous for. She is an author who writes about animals. That way the general public can understand them better. And so this book actually has a companion series on Disney Plus / National Geographic,
Ooh.
also called Secrets of the Octopus. So it's like kind of, if you're watching it and you're reading or you're watching what you just read kind of thing, but there's like things to look at and it's great. And this book actually has
That
pictures
sounds
in it.
amazing.
I know, and it's all about octopuses, because that's actually the correct plural. She describes it in there. It's octopuses, not
It's not
octopi.
octopi.
It's not octopi.
I will take octopi to my grave. You can pull it out with my
Yeah.
cold dead
It
hands.
has something to do like with it, because I think octopi is like a Greek origin and octopuses is actually Latin origin, and like that's why, or something like that. Like it has something to do with the correct origin of the word between Greek and Latin. And
I refuse.
So you're saying both are correct, but only one is correct in English.
in like technicality, yes, one is correct. The other one is
Yeah.
incorrect. I mean, we all use octopi, and if we use a word, it becomes a real word. So, honestly, but
That
yeah,
is true.
no, it just talks about like different octopuses and like ones that she's met like at the aquariums, and talks about like their different personalities and how like the different like life cycles of an octopus, and how like some of them researchers are still learning about octopuses, and like the different things that they do, like use tools or walk along the ocean floor backwards, or they create their own mini cities.
Octopuses make
They
cities?
make cities. Oh my god, I need to like grab the book so I can like see it. I forget what it's called. I'm gonna go grab it. Give me 1 second.
Do it.
Okay.
It's like next to me.
But I still refuse to say octopuses. I can't do it. It just
I
feels
agree.
wrong.
No, it's octopi for sure. I
It's
just said
gotta be.
octopuses and it felt wrong.
It did. I don't like it.
No,
Like it at all.
don't like it either.
Let's see. Doot. Yeah, chapter Octopus Kingdom.
That sounds amazing.
I know.
Yeah, that
Octopus
sounds
Kingdom.
dope as hell.
And honestly, like
The
flipping through this,
Kingdom
like
of the
there's
octopi.
gorgeous pictures in it. It's just like because of the way that just how they published the book.
Is this like a? I don't know how to say it. Is this like a normal like size book, or is it a bigger book? Yeah, I don't know.
It's normal size. It's not like a coffee table book. It's called
Okay.
Octopus. It's
my
called
gosh.
Octopus. Yeah. So basically a bunch of it seems like it was like a site where a bunch of like human made stuff has fallen to the floor, like sheet metal or like shipping containers and stuff. And like these octopuses they make dents, so they bury like under the sand, and they had found that they're making their burrows and dens under the shipping container was a really good thing to do. And so a bunch of like 8 or so, or up to 10 of them or 15 of them at a time, live together. And they have like neighbors, and there's like an octopus that likes to act as like a lookout for all the other
Oh my gosh.
octopuses in the group, like while like, and they monitor like who comes in the city and who comes out. And it's like a different
have a
octopus because they
fort.
only live like, yeah, and because they only have like a 2-year lifespan. So it's like over the course of time, like there's like a different octopus that takes this sentry position, and it's really funny because they're generally solitary animals, but they like
Yeah.
they have this city, and there's another one that I actually found online that's not too far away. It's like 30 miles away, and where Octopolis is. But yeah, I
That
loved
sounds
that book.
amazing.
She has another one on my TBR called The Soul of the Octopus, which is what she really got famous for, aside from, I don't know, maybe other books, but that's the one that like from the bestseller of The Soul of the Octopus, of an Octopus. So Yeah, I loved that book a lot. My other
Sounds
one,
really neat.
yeah, I highly
That's
recommend
definitely
it.
really nice. I just added it to my TBR.
Yeah, yeah, it's just a really good book. Um, my second one is Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. Alison, I know you had a hard time with this book because you did it on the audio. But when I had the physical book, so I loved it. I didn't have the issues you were having. Um, and it's kind of like an epic fantasy, and it kind of combines both the Western world, like our Earth Western world of dragons, and the Eastern world of dragons, into like one fantasy world kind of thing. And the Western ones are like the evil ones, and the Eastern ones are like the good ones. And there's like a whole balance between light and dark, good and evil. And it follows several characters around their planet, while like the nameless one, which is like a really evil dragon that's going to bring plague and destruction, is about to awaken from his slumber. So they're trying to stop this from happening from people all over the world, and they don't really realize like what is happening. They're like trying to discover like this mystery behind the nameless one and his reawakening. And there's so many different cultures involved, like they're fantasy ones, but it's based on our cultures, of course. But it's really, really good. I really love it.
Interesting.
Oh, and
Sounds really good.
it is an LGBTQIA book too. So, a lot of the characters are in that community too. So it's really nice to have that fantasy setting, and also, being gay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Sounds interesting.
I think if I'm waiting a little bit still to get into that, especially with the Brandon Sanderson world right now. But I'm gonna try reading it like actual book form, because the audiobook really made it hard for me to follow along. Which is interesting because like the other books that are audio are easy to, like the Sanderson ones, equally as in depth. I found those easier to follow, so I don't know.
I see.
I will give it another shot. I think it could just be the narrator. I'm not sure.
And that really makes
just
or break
trying.
an audiobook.
It
Yeah.
does. It's
Yeah.
true.
Oh,
Because there's books that I liked reading physically, like the physical book, and then Val had read via audiobook, and we both had completely different opinions about it. And it's just because like the
Yeah.
narrator was just so annoying.
Yeah, it's true.
it can. Yeah. What's another one?
Oh, my next one.
Yeah.
Okay. So my next one is called One Last Breath by Ginny Myers Sain. This book is so Florida. I love it so much. It's technically a young adult novel. And Ginny actually lives in Florida now. She moved to Florida, so she takes a lot of what we experience on a daily basis, especially in the month of May going into June, where it's hot and muggy and humid, and you go into the spring and it's like so refreshing and cool because it's a constant 72 degrees year round. And you're just like, yes, I have done this. I live this, and it's so realistic. That's what I love about her writing and this book a lot. So this kind of has like a little bit of magical realism, like a little bit, but it's technically a mystery, and it takes place like in a small Florida town where they had a cold case murder from like 20 years ago, of two teenage girls got murdered by a serial killer, presumably. And then modern day, our girl True and meets another girl Rio, and they realize that they have a connection to the girls who have passed away. So they kind of try to solve the murder and figure out like why they have such a fascination with this case. And this one's also LGBTQIA too.
Nice. That sounds like fun.
That's
I know.
It sounds like a good book.
I love Ginny Meyer Sain. I've read 2 other books by her. I just love them.
Nice.
She's actually coming to Fort Myers in March for the reading festival, and I am going to meet her. I will take the day off.
Nice. We'll have to go.
Yes.
When is this? You know? That sounds really cool.
It does. I didn't know it was happening.
I think it's put on by the county. Cause yeah, it's on by the library. It's by the library system. Okay, it's March 1st, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I think it's a Saturday.
Ooh, very cool. That is a Saturday.
That's a Saturday. It is called the Southwest Florida Reading Festival. It takes place in Fort Myers, downtown Fort Myers. So you get to meet authors. They'll have some tabling events, and some authors will do some talks about their books. You get to like walk around and stuff. There's like a name a character raffle. And there's a bunch of that did the mango tree, Annabelle. What's Tomatich? Oh my god! I hope I am not butchering her name. I am also bad at names sometimes. But yeah, she's going to be having a book discussion too, because that book is a nonfiction based in Fort Myers.
That's cool.
So, yeah. Yeah, because I tried looking on this website a couple months ago, but now that but yeah, I think Val and I definitely should go. Or
Yeah.
Allison should also make time to come down to just come to the festival.
I could do a day trip.
You know what?
It's really not that far.
Yeah, my parents do day trips.
I've
down
done
here
it
all the
before.
time.
My parents do. It's true. You could do it. I believe in you.
I just did like 2-3 months ago. Pick up a table and come right back. Oh, literally 7 a.m.
Break.
Okay, so the website said Art Festival has hosted hundreds of fabulous authors over the course of the event's history. And then it has like pictures of the books with the author, and Ali Hazelwood is on here.
What?
Yeah, the book Not in Love is on this website. Like, it's on the page.
What? I have all of her books.
I know you have.
She's gonna be there?
I guess so. Yeah, because it has the Mango Tree author on here too. And Ginny Meyer Sain. So I'm assuming so. Like, my dude.
Interesting.
I know, right? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, because I click on the little book and it's actually a really cool little graphic. It opens it up and there's a little blurb about Ali.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I have all of her books, and she's an excellent author. Like it's just really fun because all of her stories are like, the women are in the STEM field, so
yeah,
they're really good. Like, really good, really cute books. Ooh, I think I need to reschedule my appointment that I have that Saturday.
I think I need to put time off in for this Saturday.
I agree. Do it.
I think so.
Oh, and also what I love about Ginny Meyer Sain is that she's so sweet on social media. I've tagged her in a million things on Threads, and she like almost always responds. It's great.
I was about to say, it sounded like the same author. Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the times she's like, "Yeah, you're in Fort Myers. I'll be down there." And I'm like, "Oh, that's how I found out about this event," because she mentioned that she will be here.
Love it.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
Alrighty, I think that's everything for the first episode of Books I Read with My Cat. You guys got anything else before we sign off?
No.
You can find us on social media at BookCatPod. And we'll link to that in the episode description as well. We're only on Threads, Instagram, and Facebook for the moment, but we'll be adding some additional profiles as things pop up, pending, government things.
Post TikTok era that
Yeah.
happened of the day of this recording.
Yep.
It's dark.
TikTok
I'm in
is no
withdrawal.
more, but we shall see.
See what happens.
We'll post pictures of our cats as well on social media so you can get to know them as well, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Adios, amigos.
It's fun.
This has been Books I Read with my cat. Thank you so much for listening to our first episode. Again, you can follow us on social media at BookCatPod. And if you have any suggestions or anything you want to see from us, feel free to send us an email at bookcatpod@gmail.com.